I recently decided that it was time to start Cowboy Bebop. The live-action Netflix show just launched, and mildly offended by its existence, even though I haven't seen the original, I realized I needed to justify those feelings and finally watch it. My progress hasn't gone great so far. I watched the first 2 episodes and then I subsequently watched the first episode 4 more times. It's a masterpiece. It establishes so much so fast and contains an incredible one-off story. I was originally going to wait until I finished Cowboy Bebop to talk about its overarching themes, but this first episode captivated me so much I had to talk about why I think it's such an incredible piece of television. The first thing that struck me about Bebop was its beautiful opening scene, a completely unrelated and unexplained moment of pensive reflection, a black and white shot of a rose in the rain and violence in a church. The rose's red fades back into colour as if memories coming to light, love coming to the forefront. It's beautiful and doesn't offer anything but a somber opening to an otherwise startlingly uplifting title sequence.
I think it's time to blow this scene. Get everybody in the stuff together. Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's jam.
This contradiction and playfulness sets the tone for a show that clearly moves on to strike a beautiful balance between fun and reflection. Spike is presented here and on into the start of the show as somebody struggling with emptiness. He's vacant and slow, unresponsive and still. His presence in this black and white memory speaks volumes about his character before he's even spoken. Which brings me on to Spike. Spike's quiet and reserved. He's more than capable of being witty, but the show doesn't introduce him that way. Cowboy Bebop opens to a quiet, slow scene after its outlandishly stylized title sequence. Spike sits still, frustrated by the lack of meat in his bell peppers. He's somebody that finds missing things. He's uncontent with the life around him and can't help but notice the voids in his life. He's driven to find the missing pieces and doesn't become interested in the bounty until Jet, his older paternal figure, mentions that he can find beef on Tijuana. Spike's uninterested in bounties when we meet him. He's in denial about his situation. He doesn't accept that he's broke and forgets why he had to pay off his last score, blocking the memory from his mind. This scene ostensibly means nothing. It's 2 men chatting about some bell peppers, but the language, the rhythm of the writing sets up so much of Cowboy Bebop's themes later in the show. This bounty that Spike eventually decides to embark on is a usual journey. It's episodic and only lasts for the episode, something that continues on into Cowboy Bebop's format, but it's laced with imagery and thematic development that establish the mood and tone of the show so beautifully. Tasked with tracking down Asimov Celestin, a high-level member of a crime syndicate running to Mars with a large quantity of stolen drugs. As Spike finally finds Asimov, he realizes that his wife Katerina is caught up in the escape, pregnant with their child. The 2 of them are pursued by Spike as she starts to become more and more aware of her husband's abusive tendencies. His addiction to the drug they've stolen becomes more and more out of control. He threatens and scares her. Her only escape now with him to Mars, trapped in her relationship. Yet, as the chase continues, her stomach is caught with a bullet, the drug's vials spilling out, revealing that she's not pregnant with Asimov's child, but with his drug-fueled life. It's a beautiful piece of thematic imagery that sums up the entire concept of the episode. Her desire to escape to Mars and lead a family has been tainted and poisoned by her husband's addiction. It's a part of her and she must bear his weight. Spike eventually chases them into space where his addiction reaches an all-time high and she realizes they're caught, unable to escape in the face of the police. Spike watches on as Katerina takes a gun to her husband's head. Left with no choice but to end their journey here and now, she shoots him, accepting her fate. Looking to Spike for something, anything, and realizing there is nothing, she's torn apart by the police's gunfire. Hurtling backwards into the blackness of space, her stomach unfolding, the blood-red vials spilling out into the dark void of space. She's finally free of her weight, of her pain, her abuse and her poisoned family. She may not have escaped to Mars, but she's escaped her trap. It's a beautiful and bleak episode, a promise of the nothingness to come. the lives wrapped up in sin that have no escape and no significance. It surmises everything in the show thematically, and it provides such a beautiful one-off story that's intoxicating and is nothing short of a masterpiece.